Sam, one of our first members at One Life Club. It's so good to have you here, and it's so actually great to have you as a team member of One Life Club because you are so supportive, not just of what you do yourself, you're so supportive of other members. As you know, I'm in our community every single day, and yourself, you're encouraging people, you're sharing your knowledge, you're asking questions. So it's so good to see you active. You clearly want to, learn more yourself and have a great amount of people around you and keep moving forward. So thank you for being absolutely amazing, man. And yourself, you are such a big contribution to our community. And one thing I always say about One Life Club, we are not your typical, people go and get a mentor or coach. Everybody's mentor in our community because we are all doing things, we are all trying our best, and everybody's got different views to different things that we do, which is phenomenal. Anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as part of the One Life Club, to yourself, Emil, Simon, and Chandra as well. It's been one of those, I guess, life-changing memories, or something like that we can call it. Last year, you just touched on the point about business coaches and mentors and things like that. And I was in search last year. I hit a couple of roadblocks in our personal development, we'll call it, and the business development, and came across the One Life Club. I think it's one of the best things to happen so far.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. And I think all of us make it so great as well. The community, which is interesting to watch, like, in such a short amount of time, a lot of members are mates, kind of. They're not just, it's not just a typical networking place and, you're serious. Like our people are kind of, is becoming like a bloody, little family there, full stop.
The welcoming him from the first moment I walked in, I guess, everyone was shaking hands and giving each other hugs and things like that. So it's definitely been a great environment to be in, and it's not your typical average mentoring session, we'll call it.
Of course. Now tell our members, new members, and anybody that is watching this full stop, what does Sam do? What does your business do?
So the business name is Esnc Perfumery. A little bit of backstory before Esnc came around is I was a building designer for about 16 years. I worked in multiple architectural offices before opening my own in 2016. Always loved construction, always loved building, and built multiple houses myself and invested in some as well. COVID hit around that 2021 mark, and we always wanted to diversify. So Frank and I opened our businesses at the same time. He's a structural engineer, I was a building designer, and we really bounced off each other back in 2016. We both experienced the same problems and issues in running your own business and having staff and team members, and also being in an industry where it's tough on you as well. So the stresses and complications that come with being in a service industry in the building sector, we'll call it. We always wanted to diversify, and we'd made that decision where we really got close over the years and became best mates. And we wanted to diversify and have a business that was not in the construction industry. And we stumbled across an idea or a concept, which I pitched to my wife back in 2014, to be honest. And she kind of laughed at me back then while we were holidaying overseas and said, no, you're crazy. No one's going to buy an Inspired by perfume range. So long story short, 8 years later, Esnc Perfumery came around. Frank and I, in between lockdown, we were going for a drive. Lockdown was tough for us Melburnians, and I think I messaged Frank one day and I said, I'm at the end of my wits' end, and I need to get out of town. So in between lockdowns, we went for a little drive and got away for a couple of days. And I kind of pitched the idea to him, and he just looked at me, and we had a handshake deal in the car on the way there, and got back home and said to the wife, this is what we've decided. What do you reckon? Are you on board? And she just had a laugh and giggle and just said, I'm not sending you to anywhere again. And Esnc Perfumery was born. It happened so quick and happened so fast, and it's probably the way we roll now as well. The day we started is probably how we're going 2 years later. So yeah, Esnc Perfumery, inspired by perfume model. First location opened in February 2021. So fast forward 2 years to today, where I'm going to say 12. We've had to close a location, but that's a touchy subject. I'm going to say 12. We did get to 12. So 12 locations in 2 years, over 50 staff now, and it's the most team members I've ever had and been in charge of, I'll call it. But we work for them. So
You know what? And the thing is, employing 50 people is like having kids. You are responsible for them. They have kids and wives and husbands. Do you know what I mean? And every decision that you actually make can affect entire families. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
we've got a very diverse team. We've got your parents, they've got kids. We've got students that have come from overseas and they're studying here, so they really have to have a job and be relying on their employment and income. We've got from 18-year-old up to 40, 45-year-old staff and team members. So um, it's daunting when payroll comes around every couple of weeks and you go, payroll's priority, rent's a second priority, and you're always thinking about them in the back of your mind. Every one of
People
our team members
people
is
think
paid
when
more
you're
than us.
people think when you're running a business, there's so much that you're actually getting yourself, but what they actually don't realize that yourself as a business owner, you actually come last.
Exactly. So Frank and I don't draw a wage from Esnc Perfumery. Everything goes back into the business and into the team. So hopefully that changes in the near future. We'll see what the future holds on that, but we're working hard and pushing hard towards it.
What would you say is the hardest part about running your business?
I don't think there's any one thing you could say. It's every day is different to the day before. Every day's got its own challenges, and at the moment for us, the main challenge is keep making sure we've got enough stock on the shelves and trying to get through the day-to-day operations.
Specifically, this is a new industry for you as well because you haven't been in this industry, for 30 years.
No, I haven't. No, yeah. So pre 2021, the only perfume knowledge or experience I had was the perfume I had in my cupboard. So, every day is a learning curve for us, and I guess that's what we're absolutely loving about Esnc is that every day is something new. We're always learning. We're ever learning about products. We're ever learning about shipping and the problems that you face in shipping, as well as the joys. That's the best part of it for me at the moment. I've always loved a challenge and tackle it head on. So. Today, I think yesterday we're in a boardroom meeting for 8 hours all day. So, always diversifying and always looking at what's coming up.
See, I always say it's much easier to be a business owner who, let's say yourself, you open one location, establish it, and run it. That location can make you one, two, $300,000, whatever the number is. It's irrelevant. And you're just maintaining it and growing it, and you're getting paid yourself because you're not putting anything into the next thing. But the hardest thing is when you're a mad entrepreneur like yourself. One, okay, let's scale it to two, let's scale it to three, let's scale it to five, let's scale it to eight, let's scale it to 10. So all the money that you're constantly making, you kind of never see it because you keep investing, 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 investing. So it just keeps, because that's the decision you made to actually grow, and the price to pay, you're not taking anything out of, from the table. You're just putting it back in, back in, back in, back in. So till the day comes where you say, okay, let's just have a flat line and smile. That's what happens. That's why a lot of business people, over 20 years, they might take very small wage, and then you hear them sell their business for 100, 200, or $500 million because they were focused on constantly growing business. And that's I think the key is to find strength in yourself to still be fucking motivated while you're growing it, because you
Oh,
feel like
100%.
I got so much money, I'm making so much money, but I'm investing so much money into my business and just goes in circle.
The numbers you go through and you go, oh, it's in the millions of dollars now, and you go, shit, I've never had that much in my bank account. I've never had that. I've never been in charge or responsible for that much money at any one time. And you go, you have to keep your head cool, prioritize your expenses and things like that. So working through your stock management, your team, your rents. I think our payroll tax is kicked in as well for us as well this year or last year now, and like you said, we're mad and we're crazy entrepreneurs, and we're about to start the next growth phase of Esnc, and there should be 4 popping up in the next 3 to 4 months, and just going through the hurdles for that, and always charging ahead. So we're not looking back. We're not planning on slowing down anytime soon. So look, it's our own fault. We can't cry about it. We've chose a path and we're trying to stick to it as best as we can, and then we're trying to do everything in our power to make sure that we absolutely hit every single target. So
But this is what I say to all my friends when they are whinging, my God, it's hard. I said, buddy, you signed up for this. You signed up for everything you're doing.
Yep.
You wanted this because you had a choice. Go and earn $100,000 working for somebody else for the next 20, 30 years and have what I would call a normal life. But
Nothing wrong. Yeah, definitely nothing wrong with that. And
nothing wrong with anything that you choose to do, right? Because I reckon if any of my staff members do what I do, they have a freaking heart attack tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Oh, what you do? Do you know what I mean? They might think, oh
exactly.
my God, you got 12 locations. Life is beautiful. I will say, you know what? Go go and take Sam's place for 1 week and see if you're still normal.
Yeah, I think when we're opening, we opened 4 new locations in 4 weeks last year, and I don't think we'll do that again. But we pulled it off, and there was some very tired bodies and sore heads. It's one of those things where when you look from the outside in, everything might seem rosy and it seems easy, but when you're running the business from day to day, and you go, okay, we're opening 4 locations in 4 weeks, and we were running on 18-hour, 20-hour days, and you're getting that 4 to 6 hours of sleep or something like that. But you've got to keep going, and it's about setting those goals and look, we open those 4 locations and you do get a bit of time back to yourself, but then some other problems kick in like staff and training and management of those and making sure they're all up and running. So it never stops and there's always something to come. But I think trying to find a balance is always key. So for myself, it's I might work 18 to 20 days in a row and I'll take 3 or 4 days off with the family and the kids and get away for a couple of days in country Victoria or something like that. So as much as we all love work and the wife knows that she's married someone that's a workaholic, it's always trying to find someone that, or find some time where you can switch
Well,
off.
I don't think you're ever taking time off. That's the thing. What I always keep saying to all my teammates, if I take 5 days off, I might not do anything, but I promise you, if my brain is resting, I see that as me working. What I mean working, me preparing my freaking brain rest a little bit so I can attack it,
Yeah,
better when I come back. And
yeah,
it's the reality. When I sit in my office for 2 hours staring at fucking ceiling, trust me, I'm working. That's work to me. Do
oh,
you know what I mean? The reason why that's work to me because my brain is ticking.
we
You
never
know,
switch off, do we?
no, no. So, quite often my wife will say, I'm better now. She would say that, Emil, when you go on holiday, your body goes and your brain is in a la la land. I said, well, I'm here at least, but now I'm trying to be, if I go on a holiday, I try to be present. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's a very hard reality to actually switch off, full stop.
yeah, and that's something I actually use in the office today. I said I'm physically here, but I'm not present. So if you guys need anything or whatever you might need, I'm here, but I'm not here. So it's just there's never switching off. The pressures come with the job. Like it's like you said, we chose this path and we have to ride it out. There's no easy path and there's no such thing as easy money at the end of the day. So if you put the hours in and you put the hard work in, you will be rewarded for it. It's just the way it's going to go.
But the thing is, I think, at our age, we are old enough, wise enough to know that it does take time and there's a lot of sacrifices to be made for us to get to whatever level we are chasing. When are you gonna be coming to Queensland?
Um, it's on the cards for 2025. We're hopefully we're breaking into Sydney, New South Wales in April. There's a couple of leasing problems there that we're still trying to sort out, but there's some issues you tackle. We've been working on those deals for over 15 months now, and you think they'd be sorted and done and dusted, but it still keeps me up at night going, when's that deal going to come through? When's that deal going to be signed? So we had some good news yesterday, so hopefully that first location is roughly at mid-April. I want to pull off Queensland by the end of the year. I'm ambitious. We are a bit tired, but I think we've still got a little bit more to give. So I do want to tackle Queensland, just depending on how our Sydney expansion goes. If not, we're definitely there in 2025.
And can't wait to actually have you here. What would you say is the most challenging part of growing your business?
The most challenging part for us at the moment, or one thing that's always ongoing, is finding the right team members, finding those guys that fit the culture of the environment. That give 110%. We don't ask for 110%. We're happy with 80. If you can give us 80%, we're happy. But finding the like-minded people and training them and educating them and showing them their path and our path as well, so we grow together as a brand, as a team. We wouldn't be anything without any one of our guys. That we've got 50+ people, but we wouldn't be anything without any one of those. So they're our backbone, and trying to come up with new talent. So part of our expansion strategy is that we'll hire 4 to 6 weeks out in advance and make sure we get those guys up and trained and up and running. So trying to find good talent is always difficult, or hard to come by. But we do seem to find them easily. Once we're easygoing people. I wish I could have worked for myself when I was working growing up as a teenager and things like that. So having gone through the challenges of always being a staff member, and trying to make sure that you don't show the stresses and the pressures to your team, so they can flourish and be motivated to do their roles. I think that's very important as well. I think challenges wise, we've got a lot at the moment, Emil. And that's part of the reason of joining the One Life Club and being able to share our strengths and our weaknesses. Is like you don't get to have those discussions. You might have contacts, you might have colleagues, you might know businessmen, but you can't have those open discussions about the issues you're having and how they tackled it versus how you should tackle it. And the community is so great that like-minded people, similar paths, similar growth or scaling up concerns and issues that everyone's facing, is that you get to share and bounce off each other. Having Frank's always been great for me. So trying to stay in that positive mindset, motivation is always difficult, in the ups and downs of any business.
But we got no choice.
It's the pressures, and you just got to make sure that pressure doesn't get to you. I'm guilty. I do let it get to me sometimes. But trying to work through those and stay positive is always the key as well.
One thing that I like about community, one of our members, I'm not going to mention his name, he was going through some stuff, and he mentioned it in our community, and I'm pretty sure yourself and a few other guys just attacked part of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which and I think that's my favorite part of our community, is just people being there, encouraging each other, because let's face it, no business is easy.
No.
All of us are constantly under some kind of pressure. You know what I mean? And if you're having any issues, you can't just talk to your buddy staff about it. You know what I mean? So I feel like our community, is just there, like, you know what, I'm gonna get stuff out of my chest and
And that's what it's for. We're all going to go through our good times and our bad, and it just depends how you get through both scenarios. Like everything might be rosy, but if you're not focused on the task at the end of the day, you can always run into some hurdles and some troubles. So trying to mentally prepare yourself and physically be ready for it is always a tough challenge. You don't know what's going to get thrown at you. Like if it was 3 months ago, Emil, and I told you I had a 2-month shipping delay, and our stocks were dwindling and our shelves were looking bare, I'd probably be kicking and screaming and things like that. But just trying to take out the positives, going, I'm thankful we've sold that stock. It's left our warehouse and someone's using it, and they're having they're smelling great. So we're always going to be challenged, and it's how you tackle those, and that community, that chat board, I guess, is amazing for us.
It's been pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to our next meetup, which we are working on now. And I love also meeting everybody in person as well. So, question for you: the cryo you're starting using in Melbourne, which is interesting because I didn't know what cryo was till I met Simon last year.
I didn't either.
Yeah, somebody told me go and get frozen somewhere -80. I would say you're bloody crazy, you know what I mean? And so it's so good to even yourself to start focusing on your health. I always felt like, I'm 44 now. I feel like, man, first 40 years I didn't give a shit about my health. So it just work. What do you eat, when you eat, no exercise was who give a shit, just work, you know what I mean? But now, coming to the stage of my life, I actually wouldn't mind living a little bit longer than maybe fucking 60. Yeah, going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
the health benefits are great, and I never knew about it before Simon's house as well. So I did a bit of research after we left that day, and I said, "Oh, geez, it's not just a cold fridge that you walk into." So,
what? So what's the name of the gym where you guys actually where you went? Is that a gym?
no, it was actually Celsius. Oh, bear with me, I'll find it for you. Celsius cryotherapy in Moonee Ponds. So there was a couple that I looked up in Melbourne. Celsius had the fully closed chamber, so there was a couple that were open tops,
So that's all they do. Just cryo. That's it.
yeah. So we did the cryo, and then we did the infrared sauna. They've got a couple of packages that they do. You
And
can't
how
get.
much do they charge you?
It was about $120, I think it was. So for the 1 hour session, and as a membership, you get 2 sessions a week, which I think goes down to about 160.
160 every time you use it.
No, for two. So if you get a membership,
Ah, yes, yes, yes. And how much
twice a
is
week,
membership?
160 for a membership, and that's twice a week.
Ah, yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, hope you're feeling better afterwards.
I dragged some mates along with me today, so 4 of us went in.
And then I say, what the hell are you getting us in?
They didn't make it the whole way, so a couple of us did, a couple of them didn't. So, but 10 out of 10 for them giving it a crack. It's daunting. Obviously, it's walking to 100 something degrees, minus 110 degrees, and if you haven't done it before, you don't know what to expect. So, I'm thankful that we got to do it at Simon's house. I think it'll become a regular routine for me. Just switching off for an hour, getting away, thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to tackle the day. It's always you got to take those little breaks for yourself when you can, but we're always working regardless. So
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Sam.
thank you, Emil. Likewise.
Thanks, buddy. Take it
Thanks,
easy.
mate. Talk soon. See ya.